for handling the MC duties with such touch, and welcome. I got so excited I almost fell off the staircase coming up to the stage here for this panel. These are extremely directional mics, and that's why you kindly set those for us, so I appreciate that. You don't want it too close to your mouth because it pops a little bit. You know, we had a fantastic discussion with the Director General of Economy and Trade, as you were hearing from the backstage there. I'd like to take some of the varnish off and look at both the opportunities and the challenges. I know a couple of you on this panel wanted to look at the challenges of this innovation and taking advantage of the fintech sector, but there's so much money coming into the sector and a lot of disruption, and I'd like to take a 5 to 10 year view of it over time. This is excellent because we have major players from different corners of the world that are sitting around the table. Melike, I think for this audience, and I said we have over 110 countries participating. You're from Turkey, but you work here in the UAE with Ian Money, and you're in a tight collaboration, ownership with Etisalat, and you're looking at how even in our interview with Halal Omari, he was talking about how you bring in other people into the financial system, and it's very interesting to look at a population of nearly 11 million people in the UAE. You've kind of scanned it, and there's 6 million laborers, many who were having to use exchanges to change money. This is where you have an inclusiveness or sustainability through a platform. Do you want to explain what the strategy was and how it's playing out for you?
Thank you very much. First, if you allow me, I would like to start with a quick, the market snapshot. So in the UAE, as you mentioned, we have almost 10 to 11 million population, and out of which 5 to 6 million people are blue collar, the laborers or the domestic helpers who basically earn less than 5,000 dirham. We cannot say they are fully underbanked because that they have some access to financial services, but they are underserved in terms of the financial services because they are not in the primary focus group of banks, and they are getting the main the financial services through other means. On the other hand, we have 52 banks in the UAE, basically targeting the remaining of the population. As Ian Money, we are targeting both bank and unbanked customers, basically providing our customers all they need in terms of their financial needs with the power of technology. To be more specific, every UAE resident today in the UAE can register Ian Money just by downloading app and scanning their IDs, and they do face verification. After this registration, they will have, they can have the full access to financial services, including an open loop account and an instantly issued MasterCard, the prepaid card, and both, the money transfer services, payment services, as well as, the bill payments. So thanks to this, the seamless and the digital onboarding journey, today we surpassed, the more than 1 million registered users in the UAE.
How long of a time?
It is not, the big base, as compared to
What's
China
that?
and my colleague here.
Well, China's got a different scale, and we're going to get to that, no doubt about it.
It is not a big
with
base.
Leiming.
But for the UAE, it matters.
Yes.
1 million registered users.
How long of a time frame, Melike?
In 2 years.
In 2 years, that's extraordinary,
in 2 years.
actually.
And another example can be on, in the remittance space, the international remittance space. UAE is the second biggest outward remittance hub in the world after US.
Wow, okay.
And the 70% of, the retail or the personal, the international transfer are still processed through physical channels.
Oh.
So we started to promote our remittance service in 2022, and we witnessed 20 times growth in 1 year.
So they can do it directly from
only
the phone.
From instant, from phone, from our wallet app directly to the 150 countries, either to bank accounts or cash pickup or the wallet. And the significant piece of these customers are coming from the ones, the first time they did, the digital remittance.
Excellent.
So this is, the inclusion of, these people.
It's extraordinary what's
ecosystem.
happening with that. Ali Imran of Commercial Bank of Dubai, in my conversation with Halal Amari, we talked about the traditional pillars of the economy. This is one of them. You guys were an excellent and remain an excellent trade finance bank that helps support. I was looking at your numbers for 2024, incredible growth for the year. I'm wondering how this financial services is going to evolve over time because of fintech, because you have the growth. Does it allow for different opportunities from a traditional bank, if I can put it that way, for CBD?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. If you go into our results, actually, Commercial Bank of Dubai has evolved already being beyond a trade bank, because ultimately we are here for good. We have to back the ambition of the city and the economy. If you go a little bit deep into our numbers and the strategy, over the last 3 years or so, we have grown significantly our retail banking space into the business. We have 10x growth in our customer base in terms of retail franchise. And what Melike was also mentioning, we see a clear demand in the space of payments and into access to finance for SME and individual banking both, and that clearly reflects into our result and growth as well. I think this is only being possible from a traditional banking perspective. Had we gone the way which we did in the last 55 years, it would not have taken us to the same outcome. We've started our journey with the DIFC and the Innovation Hub around 3 years back. We put up an outpost there, and that really helped us to change the way we think and we operate into the bank from a traditional ways of working to getting more and more agile and getting into a participatory element into the ecosystem. And I think it's an evolution in that sense, which clearly benefited us as an institution to reposition our propositions, which becomes more relevant to the client needs and wants. And at any given point in time in our ecosystem today, we have over 20 to 25 fintechs, which are part of our mobile banking app in some shape and form, helping us either into making services available in go-to-market to our clients, or helping us to manage our risk and operations better in a more economical way as well.
Oh, so it's a combination of both. If you don't mind, just spend a minute on, you had a 45% increase in net profit last year. What was the magic sauce? It's a high interest rate environment, but what delivered the results for you?
You're spot on. I think every bank looks good today given where the interest rates are, but it cannot be only attributed to it. Again, if you look at our underlying results, one of the biggest growth has been into our retail bank. We have acquired close to 250,000 clients over the last 2 years or so. Our digital banking proposition, what we call DigiBank, allows us to acquire customer at a pace of anywhere between 12 to 15,000 clients a month is opening accounts with us.
Why is that, though?
And it's primarily because of the way the go-to-market is. It's completely frictionless, because nobody gets up in the morning and gets excited, I'm going to go and visit a bank branch today, other than the bankers who get paid for it. But in the sense that it's really banking on the go. The more frictionless we make it, and the more ease of onboarding it is and ease to interact, that has been the key success factor, at least in our growth strategy, that we moved away from developing products in a traditional way, and we said anything and everything we are going to construct is default digital.
Good. It's really interesting how fintech dovetails with this then, and we obviously need in this panel to address the AI opportunity, and we'll get Tomas into that conversation. Leiming, Chen, you don't have a problem with scale, right? Because you have the Alipay platform, and this is what Melike was saying. That how do you see the innovations today? You're one of those on the panel that says, I want to look at the opportunity and also look at the risk, right? And I'm kind of curious, what are the two? Do you want to start with the innovations for Ant Group today, where the opportunity lies?
Thank you, John. Thank you, all of panel members, and great to be here. you know, with what we have achieved and many of the leading fintech service products in the world right now are pioneered in China by us and other market participants in that market. We obviously benefit from a large consumer base of over 1.5 billion users globally, and over 80 million merchants globally. And many of them are really sort of SME merchants. So many of the innovation technology that have driving the success we have achieved and enabled others to achieve really is from how we solve the pain points, frictions for small, medium enterprises, merchants. So, you know, in China, obviously, digitalization is at a different stage compared to many other you know, regions in the world. So we very much look at what we have accumulated in terms of technology, innovation, you know, driving our success in the businesses, look at it, you know, globally, see how we can help global merchants and consumers to have financial inclusive products and services to make them successful. So International is the international business arm of Ant Group. We're based in Singapore. We have 4 business pillars. The first one is Alipay Plus, which is cross-border payment solutions and merchant marketing services. And then we have Ant-Tom, stands for Ant to Merchants, which is a very much predominantly online services for merchants selling globally. And we try to sort of help them to connect with on different digital platforms, e-commerce platforms, to solve the merchant sort of you know, acceptance side. Then we have a B2B business called World First, which is based in London, which we acquired 5 years ago. It is focused on SMEs trading globally to solve their, you know, pay-in, pay-out, and even financing services for their global trade needs. The last business pillar really is SME financing business, where we look at their financing needs. They really sort of, in many respects, those SME, when they do global trade, they're underserved. You know, they have pretty specific needs from financing perspective, and a lot of traditional banks may not be sort of providing that kind of service cost effectively. So we work with financial institution partners, we work with the merchant network partners, and to see what kind of financing solutions we can deliver for them. So you look at it sort of this, the history we have, the journey we have sort of you know, come across, and you look at the next 5-10 years, we think we will continue to be driven by innovation technology in delivering the affordable, cost-effective, and secure services, financial services to SME merchants.
Okay. I didn't realize how much you were focusing on the SME space, and I think it's also very interesting that you've ventured into Singapore and London with acquisition as well. I'll circle back with you in a second.
Sure.
Thomas, it's great to have you. You're also a company based in Singapore with 7 global offices, and you are a pure play artificial intelligence company. And I love the way you communicate on email, because you said, I'm going to cover these 3 topics. And it's very interesting. 1, 2, and 3 all said, how do we improve the customer experience? So you have this burden on your shoulder, how AI improves the customer experience. But can you spend, you know, a minute on why Dyna.AI has a particular space in this? Is it really customer focused?
Sure, sure. No, I mean, like, I guess that's not only Dyna.AI, it's all those kind of companies which are coming with something new, which are coming with some fintech or AI solution. We have to have in our heart customers, and it's not because we would be any better, but it's because that's what we kind of can build our success on only. I mean, like, all those panel the guys from here, they are having the portfolio. They are already having something, you know, of a customer. So then, you know, they have a certain base, while these new companies which are coming with some new solution, they have to think about customer, because the only way how they will listen to us, you know, it's if we will bring something for customers, which something would kind of make their customers happy, or which kind of makes them being treating customers better than the competition. So I guess the AI and any other innovation which is coming has to come with something which will kind of convince the traditional players to get it in and use it. I mean, I was using it yesterday. Sorry, I will also talk about Dyna.AI later, but let me take it. It's like this AI, and it sounds like a buzzword, but I'm always comparing it like a computers. You know, when the banking or financial industry, like 50 years ago, when it was only paper, you know, and pen, you know, many of us would not be eligible for loan or for current account, simply because the paperwork was so expensive, so inefficient, that only the super rich people could get a loan which was backed by some real estate. Then came computers, and what computers did is technically nothing else that increase the financial inclusion. And it was not because, you know, all of a sudden computers wanted to do it. It is because the traditional institution got a tool which allowed them to be better than before. So, I mean, like, we should look on AI like exactly like the same. It's nothing. I mean, like, AI is a buzzword. But until it will bring something which convince traditional players that this is giving them additional financial inclusion or treats the customer better and give them some advantage, that will kind of convince them to use it. So that's why I always think about customer first. And it's not because I would love customer better than the other guys, but it's only like that if customer will like me because I have product for them, then my customers, like an institutional customers, will like me as well. So it's a pure greediness. To be successful, I have to think about customers more.
Okay, I mean, just a quick follow-up for you. How does a AI company, and this is for Tomas, stand out vis-a-vis the others? Because it's such a new space. So I'm very curious, and the panel all wants to talk about AI because you're looking and navigating the landscape. Why come to Dyna.AI?
I mean, because...
And how do you market yourself as an AI company? Because there's a lot of imposters in the market, if you will,
yeah,
right?
Sure, it is. But I'm saying, like, what we are selling is a product. Our product is like, we have like 3 pillars of products, but let's say the first one and the most important is a communication platform, which kind of covers the avatar like a big screen of a robot whom you can talk to you, and then we have like a call, like a standard voice GPT if you want, and the text GPT, we call it Dyna.Ai, but it does exactly what I believe will serve the companies which we talked about now. It's like who increase the scale, because with the scale comes the labor cost of servicing the customer, and comes the something what you start losing is the seamlessness of your processes. And Dyna.AI has, like, I would say, like one of the first ones which has like a full holistic solution of the communication platform. You know, like combine together ChatGPT, Voice GPT, and Avatar GPT, then technically, if I will go, let's say a little bit exaggerating, you can outsource to us your entire communication to the customer, like do it, and we can also help you, like whom to communicate what and how. So it kind of brings that alternative of being more seamless. Because I mean, like technically, if let me use some kind of exaggeration a bit of, you can kind of, every single customer of yours can get his private banker. Because, you know, I guess we all have the fear, at least I do, that when I'm calling, let's say, there is no airline on this panel, so let me use airline as an example. All of us, if we would be kind of trying to change our air ticket, flying from somewhere to somewhere, and you are on a line with the operator, when you are midway done, you all will have the fear, hope the line will not get disconnected, because I will have to wait again.
So true.
and that's exactly, like, the point is, if you have an AI solution, if the line gets disconnected and you call again, you are not going to the new operator. You are going again to the same AI. So
Right.
all you are verified, and you can literally continue exactly with the same sentence where you finished.
Huh.
So that's what I believe. It's like what makes like I would say like a traditional players to talk to Dyna.AI, because we have something to offer. It's not about AI. It's about the product what AI can deliver. So we are, as a Dyna, we are not trying to sell like AI technical solution. We are always trying to sell ourselves. We are giving the business solution. Because this is like a typical
Well, it's
business
also,
solution.
I think it's a layer further from what you're saying, because people are so intimidated by what AI offers and how do you take advantage of it. But there's a lot of negativity about how it sweeps out a number of jobs. But I actually found they said the same thing about the digital revolution. It actually creates jobs. You just got to make sure your society is ready. I'll come back to you, Thomas.
Sure.
Melike, and I think all three of you, Leiming, you're out a large scale of it, but Tomas laid out some very interesting ideas, and you use data analytics now, but how do you take money into AI? How do you tap it to improve the customer experience, do you think?
For sure, the AI and the big data are in the center of our business model. So we are also lucky that our parent telco has one of the richest data sets in the UAE. So there are a lot to talk about, our applications, but maybe I can give two examples, especially in the customer acquisition side and the engagement side. As Money, we never do mass marketing. We have some propensity models, built on this data, and we can estimate, which of our customer segments can be interested in which of our product set. So basically, which incentives might interest which segment of our customers to opt in our service. So we always run targeted and personalized, the offers to our customers at the right time with the right, the proposal. So, for example,
you scope the customer and you're very specific on what the offer is.
we are deeping down,
Yeah.
all the customer segments and the proposing right proposal and proposing the right offer to right customer at the right time.
Okay.
So what does it mean? It is maybe the basic example. Our expat customers might be more interested in our international remittance services with the best FX exchange rates, whereas our Emirati customers might be more interested in how that they can send money to their kids or the domestic helpers with the best way and the most seamless experience. We have another example on credit scoring algorithm side, because thanks to our big data and also we develop a distinctive credit scoring algorithm to estimate the credit worthiness of our customers in financial, and I mean in the fintech space, especially for the lending purposes. So the beauty of our algorithm, since it is relying on telco data, it is not only assessing bank customers who have a certain level of data in credit bureau, but also we are able to assess the customer set who don't have any data in the financial ecosystem. So that is, I think, the use of big data and using the data analytics in the fintech domain.
Okay, thanks very much. Ali, you're one on the panel that wanted to look at the collaborations available, right? I know, for example, you strategically signed an agreement with Accenture to say what's the next generation of fintech and AI as applies to the bank itself. But you said there's some very clear opportunities and clear challenges, which I think is a very sober assessment of where you want to go as a bank. You just want to be measured but move quickly, right? Do you want to elaborate on this?
Yeah, I think, what Thomas said is exactly the ethos, at least we have taken at CBD, is AI is a technology, and we don't want to implement technology for the sake of technology. We need to see what and what's in it for me, from both customer angle as well as from the bank side as well. I think we see AI and generative AI essentially providing the traditional bankers a very massive multiplier effect rather than replacing them. That's how we are approaching them. So right now we are running a number of use cases in actually augmenting our human capital with it to be able to serve our customers better and faster at this stage. And to the point you made, I'm like, we have a big responsibility as a financial institution on the responsible AI, the usage, the declaration to our customers as well in terms of consenting, data privacy, and so on and so forth. Hence, it's a two-speed strategy. We would like to be very innovative, move fast, but at the same time, we carry a certain trust into the society for safeguarding the institutional, deposits and the other assets we carry on behalf of our customers. So what we are clearly working on at the moment is more on machine learning use cases into financial crime compliance, which has actually given us a very decent amount of uplift on our ability to, create certain amount of operational efficiency in our financial crime compliance space. Into the customer area, we are really focused on generative AI. What Melike also mentioned is essentially helping our customers to avoid getting stuck into a traditional way of communicating with us. Although what we see today, 99% of our customers' first touch point is nothing to do with the call center or IVR. First go-to thing is mobile. And I think this is where I truly believe in the short to medium term, generative AI will have a spectacular impact, because until now, mobile banking were always seen as to serve the customer, not to actually acquire a default. Because somehow we want to talk to someone if we want to make a bigger decision in life. We don't buy a mortgage loan sitting on a phone.
No.
It's an important decision. But there are certain products which typically we need on the go. When you're traveling, you would like to have a travel insurance and some micro products, and especially moving money. And banks have been moving money for decades, and we're still not very good at it. You still send some money, and out of the 1 in the 10 gets stuck somewhere cross-border. And I think this is where really that last mile delivery improvement we will see coming through.
Okay, I want to also cover, just to lay it out, because it wasn't some of the topics you shared. The criminals get their hands on AI as well, right? In the banking sector, Ian Money, if they hack your systems, there's trouble, and they seem to be ahead of the customers on, I'm getting different warnings from my banks, and they're giving an awareness campaign. So just think about that in the next round of questions. What would you say, Leiming, are the best customer penetrations by financial innovations then? What are you working on that's going to make the user experience even better, would you say? And let's watch our answer times. We only have 13 minutes, yeah?
Sure.
Thanks.
No, since everybody's talking about AI, I would use AI as something that to illustrate the innovation we've been sort of adapting and really, roll up, putting our solutions. Couple examples. First one, we, the Alipay Plus business I introduced, we adapt deep learning algorithm to really sort of use user data to really come up with people's preferences. For example, a user wants to travel to Dubai for tourist purposes. We could come up with recommendations for things to do, things to buy, and things to see. That type of AI is not just buzzword, it's about application, right? So everything's about application. So that's very, very helpful, not only for the consumer traveling to Dubai, but also merchants in Dubai, because, if I come here, I want to try some famous local cuisine, we could have recommendations and for merchants.
That's done with cookies right now, but it's not a very precise
Well,
science.
nothing
right?
can be precise, but I think with the deep learning algorithm, you can get as close as possible.
Yes.
Right? It's a human element in there, so you can never replace technology with human preferences, but we can get as close as possible.
Okay.
The second example I want to use is really at NT International, we've been sort of utilizing AI for liquidity and forex management. Looking at solutions for our merchant customers. One example I want to use is we've been working with some low-cost airlines, and the biggest cost for them really is the chargebacks, refunds associated with cross-border traveling, exchange rates, right? So we're able to sort of come up with a dynamic pricing product for them using AI, and for them to reduce that part of cost, reduce refunds, reduce chargebacks. So that's tremendous for any airlines, not alone low-cost airlines. So those are the things sort of we look at to see how we can use technology like AI to solve customers' pain points. The last example I want to use really is, well, in China we have this huge wealth management platform embedded in Alipay. And using AI, we're able to recommend investment products in a responsible way. So that's sort of the ethical usage of AI coming into play in real life. So those are the things that we constantly look at.
Very interesting. Okay, Tomas, you wanted to address this idea, and it was great because Leiming talked about it using the airline example. How do we drive down costs? We're living in a pretty high inflationary environment worldwide right now. Where does technology, AI in particular, really start to change the price curve here?
I mean, it comes technically with scale, honestly, because AI is expensive, or any innovation is expensive. So it can bring down the cost, specifically when it's used in the environments or in the industries or in the companies which are having the scale. So I'm happy that, in the first round of answers here, or first round of discussion was like everybody's increasing scale. That's exactly good for us. Yeah. Because if the market is fragmented, then the AI investment and then kind of investment of into bringing it into the company, like the implementation cost will not justify. But when the scale is big, then obviously it comes with the benefit of scale, that when you implement something which you can then utilize for the overall bigger base of customers, then obviously that will bring the save of cost. It is difficult to say when it will be transposed into cost to customers, because that's pretty much, as an AI company, I cannot promise, because that means like how much of the saving what we can deliver will be passed by my customer to the end customer. Right. But normally, typical economical development is that whenever there is a potential to decrease the price for customers and not shrinking your profit, normally companies does it because that will bring them additional scale. So I believe that the time is pretty much coming then where the price of the products should be kind of going down. And it's not only like what I described about this, let's say, communication platform, where it's pretty much about the scale, obviously, but I know Melike was saying that they are using the big data or any AI on that perspective. That's another part, because the AI, it's not only like what I was talking about, communication, is also like these machine learning scorecards, which are now much more, let's say, I would not say powerful in a way, but they are definitely like powerful from perspective that they can be changed faster, that they can be developed faster and implemented faster. So that again can make the products for us cheaper, because obviously if the company has a better score, which kind of better differentiate customer from bad to good, then we can get a better price. Because actually when you take the loan is expensive, not because the bank wants to make more money, of course, many times also as well, but many times it's expensive because you are paying from what you are paying on interest, you are paying the loss for the people who will not pay.
Yeah, it's very
interesting. So the better banks,
so it's a better way to understand your customer.
Exactly. So the scale growing, the big data growing, and then they based on that, like developing better way of evaluating the data, that all should bring the cost down. And it did. If you look like what was the price of the loans, let's say 20 years ago, it already brought the price down. We just don't feel it because you don't remember. We only feel when it goes up. Or when it goes down, we don't feel it. But it already went down. And I believe that AI is another step. It brings also the operational cost down and further down the cost for the risk cost or fraud cost, because like that all that AI can help. I know that with Ali you've been discussing that technically it is normal that the fraudsters are always one step ahead. It's true, but...
Good, we have 6.5 minutes left, so I'm going to ask you to answer each one of these questions. I'm going to try to do 2 rounds very quickly, a minute or less. What is the biggest threat to the business from this rapid pace of innovations? I would imagine, Ali, you have to look and say, I want to offer these tools to my customers. but the bandits are out there at the same time. I mean, I'm a pretty prime target because I travel a lot. It's pretty risky territory right now for banks, is it not?
Yeah, it's challenging, I would say. I don't think it's a threat to innovation. I think the biggest challenge what we have is the other side of the fence is equally innovative in capitalizing on these technologies.
That's what I meant. Yeah, you say it well.
Yeah. But I think the biggest challenge we are up against is a combination of AI and when the quantum computing will become mainstream. So we are looking at a next 5 to 7 year horizon, because that will be the tipping point that with every possible key in the world on the security can be dismantled in minutes, given the computing power at that point in time we'll have. I think the race has already started. The banks are already investing significantly. If you read any report today for the past 3 years or the next 3 to 5 years, one of the biggest investments by the financial services institution is in either cybersecurity posture improvement or into fraud risk. There's nothing. And I think again, machine learning and AI is a technology which is actually going to make it work for us as well. If we go with the traditional way of trying to detect the way we work it's going to cost there will be no business model left over for us.
If you looked at all the global risk reports, for the first time, cybersecurity was in the top 4 by the World Economic Forum and other agencies. A lot of people don't pay attention to it. I would even say it belongs in this conference, right, as a risk. Melike, very quickly, how do you see it E&M in terms of the risk of rolling out new technologies? But I'm thinking more of the cyber threats for your organization.
I think it is the same. All this, the fraudsters or the cybersecurity attacks might be one of the, the risks we should tackle. I can say the same.
Okay, perfect. Leiming?
Yeah, well, technology is available to everybody, including bad actors.
Yes.
So in our business, obviously, develop risk management tools with AI to counter that is a huge challenge. But we're getting there, and I don't want to get into details. We don't have time, but we can talk about that hours. But having that capability to counter that is key.
Okay, good. I want to spend our last 3.5 minutes. We have, I call them the suits and the shirts at the Fintech. We have Tomas, who's more casual, Melike is somewhere in between, and our formal bankers in between. I find it an extraordinary revolution in the last 5 years, right? Do you think alike? Does Tomas come into a meeting with the bankers not wearing a suit? But is it a different mentality that comes together, traditional and disruptive, that actually delivers results? What's the experience at CBD?
Absolutely. I think it's inevitable. We need all sort of characters in the room. And I think the biggest challenge for us is how to unlearn or untie ourselves from the banking which we have been doing for the last
decades. The legacy,
decades.
right?
Yeah. Because bankers are paid to be compliant, and they are paid basically based on experience, not on innovation in a traditional way.
Interesting.
Whereas fintechs have clearly displaced that notion by putting unicorns out there where valuations are much more than a high street banks at the moment.
Good. Melike, you shaking things up as a woman taking over for a
By
fintech
the way,
company.
This is my, this is the stage costume, so we are wearing slippers in the office, so.
This is your stage appearance.
Yeah,
I get it.
Maybe I can say, now we are building a lot on the talent, and now the 70% of, the Ian Money workforce are the tech people. And also we have 50% female participation in our, the workplace.
Good.
So,
70% are in tech.
No, 70% in tech and the 50% female.
Good. We've got to cross 50 is what I say. Let me very quickly, we'll finish with Tomas.
Very quickly, yeah, well, my fintech persona is not suit and tie. I have formal meetings this afternoon. I was going to take my tie off as I came in, and I saw you.
I had the same debate. I'm sure
I
Ali
saw
did
you
as well.
wearing tie. I said, I got to show some respect. So, yeah.
In the memo run, that I didn't realize that Ali and I have the same colored socks on, so you have good taste. I have to give you that. Thomas, you have the last word for the panel.
I mean, I'm happy that this question came, because yesterday, if you see me, I was in a tie and a suit. And actually, I was in a tie and a suit all my life.
You were in a tie and suit?
Because I was 24 years banker. I mean, this is my first fintech environment. So yesterday on a stage, when we had a global launch of our brand, I came on a stage in tie and a suit, and I remove all that and put the polo shirt and say like, from now on, since I'm fintech, I will stay. So this is my first full-time appearance as I am now. So so I feel actually weird.
Oh,
I have to
okay.
say that I do feel weird. I would feel much better in a tie and suit still. But since my entire team is a polo shirt and just kind of casual wearing, I have to join the team to be member of the team. So yeah.
So I'll try that maybe next time. Every time I show up without a suit and tie, people wanted to know what's wrong with me because
I have
of
that
my
feeling.
previous job.
I'm asking myself, like, what's wrong with me that I'm not in a suit? So I'm still feeling the same.
And this wasn't planned, just so you know, as a topic. Thanks a lot for the fantastic discussion. Really a pleasure. All your names are up, so because of time, I won't re-mention it. I just want to ask for a nice round of applause from our audience. Thanks very much.
Thank you.